On October 30, 2019, a college senior stepped into a liquor store in Atlanta, unaware it would be the last time she was seen alive. That young woman was 21-year-old Alexis Crawford, a student at Clark Atlanta University with dreams of a career in criminal justice. But hours later, she was gone. The very people she trusted most, her roommate and best friend, Jordan Jones, and Jordan's boyfriend, Barron Brantley, had turned on her. Inside their shared apartment, an argument spiraled into violence. Alexis was choked and smothered, abused and discarded in the worst way imaginable. Her family, frantic and desperate, pleaded for her safe return. For days, they held out hope, not knowing that Alexis had already been betrayed in the cruelest way imaginable. This is the life and death of Alexis Crawford.
She's a beautiful girl. She's a beautiful, fun-loving little girl. She loves her sisters and she loves her brothers. She loves all her nieces and her nephews, and we miss her so much. She's the type of girl that she see you when you come in the house, the first thing she can do is sit on your lap, give you a hug. That's just how Alexis was. She's a sweet girl, very sweet girl.
Atlanta, Georgia is a major metropolitan hub, known for its energetic, diverse population and vibrant cultural scene, with creative neighborhoods, lively music, and a mix of longtime locals, students, professionals, and artists. In 2019, however, crime was still a serious concern across the city. Violent incidents, including assaults, robberies, and homicides, kept Atlanta well above the national average, leaving many residents uneasy despite a slight drop from prior years. Property crime was widespread, with burglaries, car thefts, and break-ins common enough to make daily life feel risky in several neighborhoods. Even with signs of progress, the city's reputation for danger remained firmly in place. It was this danger that caught up with Alexis in a shocking way. Alexis was born in 1998 and grew up surrounded by family that considered her the dependable one, steady, studious, and focused on her future. She moved from home to Atlanta to attend Clark Atlanta University, where she was a senior majoring in criminal justice. Friends and relatives described a modest routine built around classes, campus life, and staying connected with loved ones. Atlanta was a new chapter that also deepened an old friendship. Alexis lived off campus with Jordan, a friend she had known since early in college. Their bond appeared genuine. Holidays together, visits home, and a level of trust that made the apartment feel like an extension of family. Alexis welcomed that closeness, and her parents embraced it too, treating Jordan like one of their own. Day to day, Alexis was the kind of student who kept to goals and schedules. She was on track to graduate, with ambitions that pointed toward the legal system. She balanced coursework with family check-ins, the kind where siblings looked up to her and parents relied on her steadiness. If there was a characteristic that defined her, it was reliability. Showing up, doing the work, and keeping her circle tight. But behind the ordinary rhythm of school and home, something destabilizing had entered the apartment. This was Jordan's boyfriend, Barron. He visited frequently, and what began as a roommate's relationship slowly became the catalyst for a conflict that would place Alexis at the center of a storm. In the final week of October 2019, tension inside the apartment reached a dangerous edge. Alexis, Jordan, and Barron had been drinking together. At some point, Barron initiated unwanted contact with Alexis, touching and kissing, behavior Alexis recognized as a violation. She went into the bathroom. Barron followed. She later reported that she blacked out, and when she regained awareness, something felt gravely wrong. The next steps were decisive. Alexis sought medical care at Grady Memorial Hospital and underwent a sexual assault examination. She then filed a police report alleging unwanted kissing and touching by Barron. That report drew a hard line, and it also drew a wedge. In the days after the complaint, the friendship between Alexis and Jordan fractured. Communication between them faded. According to investigators, Jordan even brought Barron back into the apartment afterward and kept him hidden there for days, while Alexis continued living in the same space, unaware he was present. And this secrecy set the stage for the final confrontation. On October 30, Alexis asked Jordan to take her to D&M Package on Ralph David Abernathy Boulevard. Surveillance captured them together that evening, Alexis in the store with Jordan nearby. It was the last verified sighting of Alexis alive. But what unfolded after they returned to the apartment would turn a strained friendship into a lethal conspiracy. Inside their off-campus unit, a physical fight broke out between Alexis and Jordan. During that struggle, Barron came out and attacked Alexis. Barron ruthlessly strangled her with his hands, while Jordan smothered her with a plastic trash bag. The most shocking revelation was not just the violence, it was that both participated. Alexis stopped breathing. The altercation ended not with reconciliation or retreat, but with silence. Alexis Crawford was dead. The actions that followed compounded the horror. Jordan and Barron placed Alexis's body into a plastic storage bin, transported it to Exchange Park in DeKalb County, and left it in a wooded area. Then, according to case records, they returned home, carried on, and moved through the next hours as if nothing had happened. By morning, Alexis was noticeably missing. She did not show up for class, did not respond to messages, and did not check in with family. The disappearance of Alexis quickly became more than just another college student failing to return calls. When her family realized they had gone 2 days without hearing from her, alarm bells went off. Alexis was not the type to cut off contact. She was responsible, especially about her studies, and she spoke to her siblings regularly. Her sister Alexandra described how Alexis usually replied to calls or texts without delay. When silence stretched into days, the family feared the worst. They wasted no time reporting her missing. On November 1, 2019, Atlanta police opened an official investigation. From the very beginning, Alexis's case was treated with urgency. Officers canvassed her neighborhood, distributed missing person flyers, and interviewed classmates and friends who might have seen her last. Clark Atlanta University, where Alexis was a senior, also activated its network of counselors and campus safety officers to assist with information. But the search soon revealed disturbing inconsistencies. At first, Jordan, her roommate and supposed best friend, claimed she hadn't seen Alexis after the night of October 30. She suggested that Alexis might have left voluntarily and hadn't come home. Barron also denied knowing her whereabouts. Their stories sounded simple, but detectives sensed something was off. Meanwhile, Alexis's family launched their own appeals. At press conferences, they begged for her safe return. Her mother described her daughter as a bright young woman, full of love for her siblings. Her father, fighting tears at a press conference, urged the city to help bring her home. And her sister said Alexis had always been her role model and strength.
Baby, I love you, baby. Just come home. Come home. Just come home. I love you. Just come home. I'm not gonna leave until you get home.
I just want to say to the city of Atlanta, can you just please help me find my baby sister? And Alexis, we love you. If you out there, you're looking at this, give us a call. We right here with you, okay?
Well, I just want to say this is like a very hard time for our family. And if Lexi, she's watching, I just want you to know you always been my role model. You're my strength, my aspirations in life. And I just want you to come home and be safe. And I hope God's walking with you. And please prevent any evil that comes her way. And we're here for you. I love you, Alexis, and miss you.
She's a beautiful girl. She's a beautiful, fun-loving little girl. She loved her sisters and she loved her brothers. She loved all her nieces and her nephews, and we miss her so much. She's the type of girl that she see you when you come to the house, the first thing she can do is sit on your lap, give you a hug. That's just how Alexis was. She's a sweet girl, a very sweet girl.
Each statement painted a heartbreaking picture of a close-knit family that could not fathom what had happened. Campus-wide, classmates prayed and held vigils while hoping for news. But behind the scenes, detectives were already piecing together a darker story. The first major lead came from surveillance footage. On the night of October 30, Alexis had gone with Jordan to a liquor store on Ralph David Abernathy Boulevard. Cameras captured her image. Investigators later confirmed this was the last time she was seen alive in public. Hours later, Jordan told police she and Alexis argued inside their apartment. That argument became the pivot point of the investigation. When detectives re-examined Jordan's account, things didn't add up. She insisted she was asleep most of the night and woke to find Alexis gone. Yet phone records, text messages, and security logs at the apartment complex painted a different picture. Barron, who was not supposed to be staying at the apartment, had actually been hiding inside Jordan's room for days, while Alexis continued living in the same space, unaware he was present. And this secrecy set the stage for the final confrontation. 4 days earlier, Alexis had filed a police report alleging Barron had made unwanted sexual advances on her after a night of drinking. She even underwent a rape tit at Grady Memorial Hospital. Jordan had been distant since that incident, angry at Alexis for reporting her boyfriend. The timeline now suggested tensions were boiling in the apartment long before Alexis disappeared. As investigators pressed Jordan and Barron separately, inconsistencies began to pile up. Detectives noted Jordan's demeanor, calm, rehearsed, even evasive. Barron, meanwhile, contradicted himself multiple times during questioning. Both insisted Alexis had simply left, but without evidence of her walking out, suspicion deepened. Detectives decided to return to the apartment with forensic tools. Using luminol, they sprayed areas of the living room. Under the glow, traces of blood appeared, invisible to the naked eye. That discovery told them something violent had occurred inside. It was no longer just a missing person case, it was a likely homicide. Still, the body had not been found, and without it, detectives faced limits. Families continued to plead publicly, holding out hope Alexis might still return. But behind closed doors, police were convinced they were dealing with murder. The turning point came when Jordan finally broke. After nearly a week of searches, she agreed to accompany her father and detectives to several parks in DeKalb County. At first, she led them to the wrong locations, perhaps stalling. But eventually, at Exchange Park in Decatur, she pointed them to a secluded, wooded area. There, inside a plastic bin, investigators found Alexis's body. She had been strangled and smothered, her remains abandoned like discarded trash. This discovery shattered any remaining hope. Officers immediately secured the area, calling in medical examiners and evidence technicians. The wooded spot became the final link in a chain of betrayal that had begun inside the very apartment where Alexis thought she was safe.
We continue to follow breaking news. A missing Clark Atlanta student has been found. Police say her roommate and boyfriend now are accused of killing her, one of them leading police to the body in a DeKalb County park. Police holding a news conference about an hour and a half ago.
1 week ago, on Friday, November 1st, the Atlanta Police Department took a missing persons report for Clark Atlanta University student Alexis Crawford, age 21. Today, Alexis's body was found in a park in DeKalb County off of Columbia Drive. Our investigators are working on securing arrest warrants for 2 individuals. Jordan had been Alexis's friend and her roommate. While a motive has not been clearly established, the department did take a police report from Alexis Crawford on October 27th, and this is a few days prior to her being reported missing. The case has come to one of the saddest conclusions possible and has been absolutely heartbreaking.
We're here in DeKalb County. This is the Exchange Park. We don't know exactly where Alexis Crawford's body was found. This is where police say that one of the suspects led them to her body here.
Has there been a sense of optimism among friends and family that this would have a different ending?
There's always that hope, especially when you have a loved one who you talk to every day, you're a part of every day, who you just FaceTime the day before they officially went missing. So there was hope, but they were still cautiously optimistic because, as you know, she went missing. Alexis went missing a week ago, but they were still searching for things. We got some sources told us that there were reports of her cell phone pinging by her apartment, and so some family friends of hers and one of her best friends actually went searching in this high brush area right across the street. I mean, they were turning over everything that they could find and didn't find anything.
With the body recovered, arrests followed swiftly. Barron was taken into custody first. He admitted during questioning that he had strangled Alexis until she stopped breathing. He described how Jordan, his own girlfriend and Alexis's closest friend, placed a plastic bag over Alexis's head to finish the killing. Barron's confession stunned even veteran detectives, though it later became the subject of legal battles over whether it could be used in court. Jordan was arrested soon after. She did not deny being present, but attempted to shift blame toward Barron. Yet the forensic evidence, the recovery of Alexis's body, and the timeline of events tied her directly to the crime. Both were charged with murder, aggravated assault, and concealing a death.
Friday evening to you. Welcome to Up Late. I'm Aisha Howard.
And I'm Ron Jones. Could the young couple accused of a Clark Atlanta student face the penalty tonight? Well, today, the grand jury indicted Jordan Jones and Barron Brantley for Alexis Crawford.
Hope Ford talked to a defense attorney to break down the court documents for us tonight.
Yes, so investigators say the two suffocated Crawford with a trash bag, then dumped her body 5 days after Crawford reported Brantley sexually assaulted her. And in addition to 6 other charges, Brantley was indicted for sodomy. An Atlanta defense attorney told me why they tacked on that charge.
What they want to do is to show he had a reason to do what he did. There had been if they had just indicted him for the murder, then they would have had to bring this other evidence in anyway, so you might as well make it available to the jury and the public beforehand.
The arrests brought momentary relief to Alexis's grieving family, but it was relief tinged with unimaginable pain. The people she had trusted most, her roommate and her roommate's boyfriend, were the very ones who ended her life. But even with suspects behind bars, the story was far from over. Investigators would now need to unravel exactly what happened that Halloween night, why Alexis was targeted, and how the chain of betrayal could stretch from sexual assault allegations to brutal murder in just a matter of days. From the beginning, prosecutors argued that the motive tied directly back to the sexual assault complaint Alexis filed just days before her murder. They contended that Jordan and Barron conspired to silence Alexis because she refused to withdraw her accusation. Both defendants admitted parts of their involvement. Detectives testified that Barron admitted to choking Alexis until she stopped breathing, while Jordan admitted she placed a plastic bag over Alexis's head to finish the killing. Barron's confession stunned even veteran detectives, though it later became the subject of legal battles over whether it could be used in court. In 2022, a Fulton County judge ruled that Barron's confession could not be used at trial. The court determined that he was under the influence of drugs when he gave the statement and had not been properly advised of his rights. The judge also noted detectives implied that showing remorse might help him receive a lesser punishment, which tainted the voluntariness of his admission. Prosecutors appealed that ruling to the Georgia Supreme Court. At the same time, prosecutors filed to admit hearsay evidence. They argued that Alexis had told friends and family about Barron's assault, and those accounts should be part of the trial because they established motive. A judge agreed, allowing testimony from 3 people Alexis confided in. In another ruling, the Georgia Supreme Court sided with prosecutors again by allowing incriminating jailhouse phone calls made by Barron to be used as evidence. These recordings, along with more than 90 pages of Instagram messages exchanged between Jordan and Barron, revealed the pair had discussed how to cover their tracks and mislead investigators after Alexis's disappearance. As of early 2023, both Jordan and Barron remained in Fulton County Jail without bond. Neither had been sentenced, but the case continued to wind through the judicial system, delayed by appeals and procedural challenges. For Alexis's family, the delays were agonizing. They insisted that granting bond to either accused killer would be a slap in the face, and continued to demand full accountability. But while the legal system moved slowly, the emotional fallout was immediate and devastating.
Hold on to your kids. Love them. Talk to them. Appreciate them and listening to them. Don't stop listening to your kids.
Bond for a young woman accused of her friend who was also her roommate. The Clark Atlanta student's murder shocked the community last November. Her family pleading with the judge today not to release her accused. 11 Alive's Latasha Givens joins us from Fulton County tonight.
During today's virtual hearing, Crawford's mother and father pleaded with the judge to not issue a bond for Jones, with the mother's tearful plea saying her daughter's was senseless. Jordan Jones and her boyfriend, Barron Brantley, are both accused of Alexis Crawford last November. Jones was previously denied bond, but today her attorneys asked the judge to reconsider, arguing she has helped with the investigation, has no previous criminal history other than a misdemeanor. They also pointed out that she has ties to the community and doesn't have a history of threatening or intimidating anyone. But prosecutors allege they found direct messages from Jones on social media encouraging Brantley to destroy surveillance video evidence from the apartment complex where Jones and Crawford lived. And they argued she was on probation for a DUI when Crawford was. Crawford's mother and father also addressed the judge during Jones's bond hearing today.
She died for no reason. No reason at all. Oh my God. But Jordan took it around. Jordan chose to go to the evil side.
And for now, Jones remains in jail awaiting trial. We'll continue to follow this case.
For Alexis's family, the pain was almost impossible to articulate. Her mother described her daughter as someone who had been laughing and in good spirits on the very day she vanished. Her father, fighting tears at a press conference, begged the city of Atlanta to help find his baby girl. Her siblings spoke about how Alexis was their role model, their source of strength, and their guide. When her body was found, the heartbreak was compounded by the betrayal. The Crawfords had welcomed Jordan into their home for holidays, treating her like one of their own. To learn that she was involved in Alexis's death was almost too much to process. Family members said it felt like being betrayed not just once, but twice, first by Jordan and then by Barron. The community at Clark Atlanta University also felt the loss deeply. Alexis was a senior preparing to graduate. Students described the atmosphere on campus as heavy and heartbreaking. Counselors were made available, and administrators emphasized that this was an isolated incident, but the shock reverberated throughout the student body. Community leaders, including Reverend Markle Hutchins, spoke on behalf of the family, reminding the public that Alexis's murder was not at the hands of a stranger, but by people she trusted most.
People have lost their lives when they have their whole lives ahead of them. This is not only tragic, but it's senseless, it is unspeakable, and really just unfathomable.
Vigils were held where classmates lit candles, prayed, and shared memories of her kindness and determination. But the grief did not end with vigils. It carried into the day the family laid Alexis to rest. Alexis's funeral was held in her hometown, with family, friends, classmates, and community members in attendance. The service was filled with emotion. Those who knew her best remembered her as a loving sister, a devoted daughter, and a young woman with a bright future that was stolen away. Mourners spoke of her as the type of person who would always greet you with a hug and a smile. They described how she loved her nieces and nephews, how she looked out for her siblings, and how she had been on track to graduate and pursue her dreams in criminal justice. Her casket was surrounded by flowers, and the grief in the room was palpable. For many, the hardest part was not only saying goodbye, but accepting the cruel reality that Alexis had been betrayed by the very people she trusted most. Alexis's story raises painful but necessary questions. Why did Jordan choose loyalty to her boyfriend over the life of her best friend? How could jealousy and anger escalate to such extreme violence? And why do so many cases of sexual assault end not with justice, but with retaliation? The case is also a reminder of the importance of believing survivors and protecting them. Alexis did everything right. She reported the assault, underwent a medical exam, and trusted the system to keep her safe. Yet within days, her courage was met with betrayal and violence. Alexis's death is a call to action. It is a reminder to demand accountability, to stand with survivors, and to recognize the dangers of silence. Justice for Alexis is not only about the courtroom, it is about ensuring no one else suffers the same fate.